In this video, I'll show you how to easily make a graphic in Photoshop with your choice of text, favorite characters, and links. Then, in the second half of the video, I'll show you how to add borders, special effects, animated GIFs, videos, and more. First, you're going to need to start up Photoshop or get a copy of it, so see the link under the video if you need help with that. As long as you're using a computer of some kind, you should be able to install some version of Photoshop. Any version of Photoshop should work with this tutorial, and in this video I'll use the old version CS2 since a lot of users at least have that. You're also going to need some images for your graphic. You can use what images you have on your device or download some off of Google as I do here. I suggest you get renders, backgrounds, and wallpapers for your favorite anime and games too. Check under the video too, and I'll also link you to some quality sites where you can search for images. Now, when we open Photoshop, we always want to make sure that these windows are open. You can open them through the Window tab at the top of Photoshop. They're essential to have open when making the graphic at any point. Now, to start making a graphic, you need to click on File at the top left and choose New or New Canvas. You can choose the height, but make sure the width is under 798 pixels or less for a profile graphic, or 730 pixels or less for a club graphic. Now you can drag images you want into your graphic directly into Photoshop, and you want to place them on the canvas you created. Sometimes, like here, they will pop up into their own window. In these cases, just drag them again from their new window into the canvas. Once you have your image on the canvas, you can move it with the Move tool circled here. And to resize it, you can use Free Transform under Edit. While resizing it in Free Transform, make sure the chain icon is clicked down or shaded in as it is here to ensure that you have the proper proportions. You can resize with the numbers I outlined here too, or resize by dragging on the sides of the images. For quality, I recommend you not increase an image's size over 100%. Usually, you should be able to drag the images directly into the canvas, and they won't pop up in their own window. In these cases, it will put you into Free Transform mode automatically, and you can resize and drag around the image and use the Move tool. Remember to keep this chain pressed down regularly to fix proportions as I did here. So drag in pictures you want to try and create your graphic with. With this layer window, you can move images in front of each other by moving their layers up and down. Each image and even text has its own layer here. Remember, at any time you can zoom in with this down here and take a step back to undo any changes with the options under Edit up here at the top. So here I'm mixing a star background with the 02 render to create an original image. You can do stuff like that as well to make your own graphic unique and reflect your personality, tastes, and favorite stuff. This is the really fun part of Photoshop anyone can do and put their creativity into. Now, when you use a render, you want to erase the watermarks with an eraser tool as I do here for a cleaner graphic. You can also remove an image from view by clicking the eye next to its layer. It's still there, you just have to click the eye again to reveal it again. Now, as you can see here, I added a new background which ended up on top of everything. And then I moved its layer behind Zero's 2 layer so we could see her in front of it again. You can rearrange the images with the layer window this way at any time. You can also add special effects, particularly to your backgrounds, with Filter and other tools in Photoshop, but we'll go into that more later in the second half of this video. However, it's really important to know about blending options right now. Right-click or double-click a layer and choose Blending Options. Here you can add transparency, outlines, glows, borders, shadows, color overlays, and more. It really gives life to your images and text, and most importantly helps you mix them together. You want to experiment. Right here, I'm experimenting with the opacity on the background image to mix it with the pics behind it, and it looks pretty cool. Blending options will also be really important later when we add text to our graphic. Now, one of the best things about Photoshop is that it has a powerful text tool that is going to be strong even for a beginner. Click on the T for the text tool, and you can type text right onto the graphic. Color, size, and font settings are also on the top after you activate the text tool. You can even move the text with the Move tool like you did for the images earlier, and text has its own layer in the layer window, which you can use the blending options on. You want to add effects to your text like glow and stroke and color to make it really stand out more, and you can experiment and find the ideal combination for your graphic. Also, as an alternative, we can always use the cool text generator, which is linked below the video and has a lot of font options as well. The text made there can be dragged into the canvas, then moved and blended like any other layer. Now, at this point, you should be backing up copies of your work as PSDs and PNG files through the Save As option. Links on your layout can connect to whatever page you want, like your anime or manga list, friend request, or blogs. You can use basic text for your links like I did here. Or you can use the cool text button generator, which again is linked below the video, so you could put buttons on your layouts for the links. I'll be doing that right here. The buttons will be dragged right into the layout like any other image, and you can affect them with blending options as well. Now, in the next step, we're going to upload the graphic to the About Me on MyAnimeList. But before you upload the graphic to the website, you could add more character pics, special effects, borders, and any other links and text that you want. I know that a lot of users are going to want to add in friend request links and message links and character pics like here. You can do that if you want, and I'll show you how to do more about that in the second half of the video. But for now, I'm going to upload a simpler graphic to the site with just the anime and manga list links, so it'll be easier to understand and explain the uploading process because it can be tricky in the start. If it's your first time, I think you should upload a simpler graphic just like I'm about to, so that you can get an understanding of how to do everything in this next step. So before we upload, if you have links on the graphic, you're going to have to activate the slice tool and then click, drag, and release the lines around the links as I do here. Make sure any horizontal lines you make cross the entire graphic. This is very important. But your vertical lines can be wherever and however long as you want them to. Just make sure the horizontal lines span the entire graphic. That's very important. Try to make the lines clear and clean as well. Now, with the links sliced out, go to Save for Web under File and use the settings that I have here. I go to the original on the upper left and drag my cursor across the graphic, and then I choose PNG. Then I click Save when done, and the pieces of the graphic will go to their own folder. We're going to add the pieces to our About Me box found through these links on the site. You'll also have to open another tab and go to an image hosting site like Imgur, and then go to the images part of the site. Upload all of the pieces of your graphic here with the green button. Then click on the first piece of your graphic. That could be the top leftmost piece, the very top piece, or the only piece if you didn't split it up into links. Then you copy the BB code for that piece and paste it into your About Me box. You'll eventually do this for all the pieces of your graphic, and if it's ever supposed to be a link, use the linked BB code instead. After you put in the first piece's BB code, any more pieces that are to the right of that first piece will have their BB code go on the right of it too, and any that are underneath it are pasted on the next line underneath it in the About Me box. If this isn't clear right now, then keep watching and I'll show you some examples of what I mean later. So the next piece is the MyAnimeList button, and since it's a link, I get the linked BB code and place it under the first piece on the next line. Also, the MangaList button is on the right side of that AnimeList button. So this manga button's BB code goes on the right of that AnimeList button's BB code. And this piece also goes on the right of those two. And finally, this last piece goes under those three pieces on the next line. Now let's check our graphic. We click the blue button at the bottom to save our work. And it's looking good. Notice that each BB code piece matches where the pieces go on the graphic. The top piece has its BB code at the top. The middle three are on the next line and all right next to each other. And the last piece is on the bottom here on its own line. Now we can change the links. You need to highlight and remove the text that's after the equal sign in whatever linked BB code you're trying to change. That code after the equal sign, which you should remove, is what that piece linked to by default. We need to add our AnimeList link after the equal sign since it's supposed to be an AnimeList button. I copy the link to my AnimeList and paste it after the equal sign. Then I do the same for the MangaList button. I copy the link to the MangaList and I paste it in the linked BB code for the MangaList button. And it works. So all that should help you get started on making a decent graphic for your profile right away. Anyone can make one and make a really good one with enough time and enough practice. And now in the second half of the video, I'll go over a lot of advanced tricks for your graphic, so stay tuned. And be sure to share your designs with us since we do love to see those. And any questions you have, you should ask in our group. However, I do have some troubleshooting solutions at the end of this video which might help you as well. Well, to add in the pics of your favorite characters or anime, all you have to do is download the pic for it from its page or some other source and drag it into the graphic. Then you make these links later the same way I showed you earlier in this video. I'll do it again here to show you how it's done again. First, you're going to use the slice tool to add slices around where you want the links. Then you upload those slices. Then paste the BB codes in your About Me box like I showed you earlier. You need to log in to an image hosting site like Imgur. Pieces that will be links use the linked BB code, and everything else uses the regular BB codes. Now, in our About Me box, we replace the links after URL equals in all of our linked BB codes. The anime and manga list links are easy to get and replace. And the links for our character pics are also easy to get, since all we have to do is copy it from the address bar for that character. Like here, I just copy Ray's page URL and paste it into her character pics linked BB code in my About Me. I can do this for the other two characters as well. Now, to get the friend and message links, you're going to have a friend or another account log in and copy it from your page by right-clicking the buttons on your page. They need to paste it to you, and then you paste it into your About Me. Remember to save all this when you're done. Now, you probably want to add special effects and borders to your images as well, because this is one of the main reasons people use Photoshop. It's the special effects. Well, let's go over several simple ways you can get started on some cool effects. Now, you already know about blending options, which are very powerful. I showed you those earlier in the video. Just right-click a layer and start experimenting with them. Under Filter are a lot of useful options for images like lens flare here. You can also download PNG files of special effects like sparkles and drag those and add those into your graphic. Google and DeviantArt are really useful sources for these types of files. And these can be customized the same way as the other images were, with free transform and blending options. Also, down here, there are many powerful options for your layers where you can mess with the colors. For more advanced users, I'd recommend looking into brush files, which you can get off of DeviantArt, and also looking at our PSDs linked under the video so you can see how we did more special effects and you'll also get some inspiration. Now lastly and most importantly, I want to show you the clipping mask function in your layer window. You drag an image into Photoshop and you can actually combine it with another image layer. This becomes really useful when you combine it with character picks, renders, and blending options. Now, adding the simplest borders can be done simply with the stroke or inner glow under blending options. But you can also use images for borders with this simple trick. Anyone can do this. Just create a duplicate of the image layer you want to put borders on, and then place it under the original layer. Then place the image you want to use for your border between those two layers. Use clipping mask on the image in between and clip it to the duplicated layer. Then use stroke on the original layer on top, set it to the inside, and set its opacity to 0. Now the image behind the original layer will actually become the border. You can also adjust the size, as I'll show you later. I'll do this trick again with Senna and this ice image. Pretty simple trick, very versatile, and can be used on any of the images on your layout. Be sure to experiment with things like inner glow or color changes to make your images look unique and cool. I want to see you express yourself and make something that you really like. Now, you can use these border tricks on your main graphic as well, but I think it's safest to do this last and to create a new PSD for any borders you add to the main graphic. You can create a new PSD like I did here and flatten the image. Then double click on the new single layer to make it a smart object and add stroke or inner glow or whatever simple border you want. And you could also combine this with the trick I showed you earlier to add an image to your border. I'll do that right here. So there's lots of ways to add animated GIFs depending on your version of Photoshop. One way is to just first add a shape that is the same size dimensions of your animated GIF. Then you slice the graphic like normal around the shape or GIF. Later, when you upload the pieces, you're going to upload the original GIF instead of that shape so that it fits into the shape where you sliced it earlier. You'll do a similar trick for your YouTube player on your graphic. You need a shape on your graphic that is the size of a YouTube player, and then you're going to add slices around it. When you're about to paste the BB code for that particular shape, you paste in BB code for the YouTube player instead. Errors are common when making an About Me graphic, so if you see this, it's probably due to missing parts of your code that got accidentally deleted or something like that. So try to fix those missing parts or start over with pasting in the BB codes all over again. You see this error a lot these days when someone's original graphic was too big and then they sliced it. Remember to keep your graphics under the maximum widths. This error on club graphics is best fixed in Notepad this way. By hitting backspace at the start of every line, just make sure that word wrap is not on. Finally, if you get blurry images, you can make them cleaner and bigger with the Waifu X2 app I've linked under the video. Or you can drag the image into Google Image to try to find a bigger, better version. It's always a good idea to upgrade your pics before dragging them into your graphics so you can get really good image quality. So if you have any other questions, ask in our group, not on YouTube, since it's easier to answer questions there in our club. And please be sure to share your finished graphics with us.